Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to I've Got Something to Say. Um, I had to skip the last couple of days because I was putting the finishing touches on my next book. Um, I call the next book For the Love of First Two, and I hope that you really enjoy it when it gets published. I haven't even thought about that. I'm trying to get the first one going first. I got one book. I got two books, and they ain't going nowhere just yet. But definitely the first one will be published. I just gotta that's the given. So I can't wait for that to come out for y'all to enjoy it. But reading this second book and proofreading it and going over the memories and the things I've experienced, that's what I want to talk about a little bit. I want to talk about not being afraid, not being afraid of the experiences that you go through as a person. That is what builds you. That is what makes you. You are the sum of your wisdom that you have acquired from the experiences that you go through. Knowledge is something that we gain when going through the experiences. When we pass it on to another, I've always felt that is what wisdom is all about. So we can help others out by passing wisdom along. Uh, so so now someone else is made up of the sum of your experiences and their own experiences, so they'll be a little bit wiser, meaning that they always say that youth is wasted on the young. Well, what's wasted on the old? um, Saying that, I want to talk about an experience that happened to me. And I didn't told anybody about this experience. This happened 5 years ago. And this is actually at the end of the next book. But it was just so powerful when I thought about it, I want to talk about it. So what happened is that I got stuck in Atlanta for a whole week. And I had to ask my mom for $40 to get back home because it was a terrible situation. So one of my friends was taking me to the bus station. Now this next part you can't make up. Yeah, I know he said he was having trouble with his front right tire, but I didn't know it was really that bad because all I know is that we were traveling on Peachtree, heading to the bus station. We turned right on the Forsyth, and when we turned that right on the Forsyth, his whole right front tire snapped all the way off and hit another car in the back windshield and cracked that car's windshield. So he came up and called a friend. That person came and picked me up, and then my friend went somewhere else. Well, to make a long story short, I helped out this guy because I felt appreciative of him picking me up. And when it was all said and done, he wouldn't take me back to the bus station. He dropped me literally in the middle of Midtown Atlanta. I recognized that he didn't have a home. He was homeless. He was just moved from bed to post, and he was gonna get some sleep somewhere, but he couldn't take me there, so he just dropped me off right in the middle of the bus station. I mean, sorry, not bus station, but right in the middle of Midtown Atlanta, right where Cheshire Bridge and La Vista's at. So I was mad. I was pissed by that time. He had dropped off in the middle of the street. Hey, I didn't get no rest. I'm just pissed. So then what happened was I decided to walk down La Vista. And I'm talking about walk all the way down La Vista. So I walked. I mean, it took about all night. It took all night. It took I don't know, but it took a good 5 to 6 hours. And yeah, I was partying some a little bit. It was just wild. It was just very strange and wild couple of days. And I had walked all the way down La Vista. I think the end of Vista is like Briar Vista. I think Briar Vista Court or Briar Vista Road or Vista Cliff Vista. I don't know which one it is. But the thing I remember is that I ended up in DeKalb County, and there was at the end of La Vista where this road ends. I mean, stops. there is this rundown park or house or whatever with a little pond, a meadow. I saw that through the forest or trees or bushes or whatever the fuck. And then there was this field that was right there on the left hand side with tall um, greenery. And there was this house on top of a hill with a huge yard fenced all the way in. I couldn't walk another step. I couldn't go another step. I mean, I was totally worn out. Now, this is where it gets kind of crazy. Um, I heard voices. Yes, voices in my head. Now, you can call me crazy if you want. You can call me whatever you want to call me, addict. I don't care. I don't know even know what it's all about. But all I know is that the voices told me the story of this house. Basically, that how it was a loving couple that raised a family there, and they owned the field that was right next to it. Now, this is where it gets all interesting. Now, I've heard this. Now, I find myself at this point talking back to these voices. Now, if you would have seen me do it, you could have called me crazy easily. Um, I was just talking to him like I was having a general conversation, like right now. Just talking to the voice, asking it questions. I mean, you would have never believed me. But the one thing that was very interesting is that these voices had to be real. You see, the voice after a while invited me to come up to the house to get a little rest. I had no clue of how to get to this damn house. It was fenced all the way in. I didn't see a way of getting in at the time, and I could have sworn I told this voice, and this is how I did it. I have no way of getting into the yard. I said, if you're real, you can tell me how to get into the yard. And I swear to God, it told me the entrance of getting into the yard from the bottom of the fence. They said to look for a Jeep Cherokee, and behind this Jeep Cherokee, there was an entrance, a break in the fence that I can get through. No clue whatsoever of where that Jeep Cherokee was. I had to look for it. When I found it, it was totally at the very bottom where this fishing boat was, and a little moat thing here going on. There it was. I couldn't believe it. The voice told me how to get through that fence. I could not believe it. The yard was huge as hell. It had to be at least 700 to 800 feet easy. So I had walked all the way, or from the bottom of the fence to the top of the hill to the house. Beautiful yard. I knocked on the door, and then there was no one that came and answered. No one came to the porch. So I went ahead and I saw a bench, and I fell asleep on the bench in front of right there on the porch. About 4 hours later, I got a little rest, and I woke up, and I decided to get the hell out of there. So then I went ahead and I walked back up the street. I had to get my bearings because I had no clue where I was at. By this time, I decided I had no phone, I had no way of calling, and I was stranded totally. And I made the decision to go ahead and just ask anyone, knock on the door, and ask how to use their phone. I had no water. I was seeing it for houses were vacant, which there was a lot of vacant houses, and I was using the tap on the front of the house. If they had a hose or whatever, if it didn't, I just boiled it around a little bit and got it right out the spigot. That's how I got water. So then, um, when I made this decision to just knock on a door, the first house was vacant. The second house I went up the hill a little bit, saw a second house, and there was this guy that was naked in front of his window and in front of his desk, just jacking. So of course, he got embarrassed, and I was like, I didn't really care what he was doing. I wanted to need to use a phone. So he wouldn't let me use the phone. He wouldn't even let me get any water. Instead, he even started making like like I said, please have some water, because I was huffing and puffing, and he saw that, and he was like And I was like, oh man, okay, that's no problem. He said, go to the next house. Go to the next house. So I went to the next house, and then I knocked on the door, and no one came, and I was about to leave, but then this nice lady came out from the garage, asked me what I wanted, and I told her I need to use the phone. She let me use the phone, but she had one stipulation. She said that I had to go and put the phone back on the porch when I was done with it. I always do my best to keep my promises, so I used the phone, couldn't get anybody, and that's what I did. I put the phone back on the porch. I walked about 20-25 minutes, and I heard this horn honking. Didn't know who it was. I didn't know nobody in the neighborhood, so like, who could be honking for me? And there was a Jeep Cherokee, and the horn slowed. And I saw the car slow down. And lo and behold, it was that same lady. She said, "You better hop in, because people in this neighborhood will not understand a black dude in your condition walking these streets." Basically, being black and looking the mess that I did, I get cops called on in this little rich neighborhood, and she was cool enough to notice it. So what happened is that she said she noticed me because I did exactly as she asked me to. I put the phone back on the porch. So she said because I do that, she felt me the at least trustworthy to an extent. And she said that she had scraped up all the money that she possibly could, put it into this blue nylon lunch bag, and put it into the zipper pouch on the bottom. And then she had two sub sandwiches, and she put it into the bag itself. And we talked a little bit, and it definitely got lost going to the bus station, but she came into the bus station. We didn't exchange names because she felt like that would probably be the best thing to do, not to even ask what her name is, and not to exchange names. But I will never forget her face, and I can never in my life express and tell how thankful I was for her to do that. It was more than a blessing. It was fuel for my book. It was fuel for my being. It was fuel for me to be a man. Because those were one of the experiences that I've been through. That because I've been through that, because I had nothing at one point, and someone gave me something, I can give up everything, and I can do to my full unconditional limits, quote unquote, and just help anybody that I possibly can, if I could, if I want to, yes, anything. I had nothing. I was hungry. I had no money. I couldn't call nobody, and she was there for me, a total stranger. Those are the things what I mean by not being afraid of the experiences that you have in your life. I've never told anybody that story. Um, it's in my book. Um, that's the type of stuff that you are I guess, when you're a gay black male like me, or any type of male, period, or female, or whatever. So the wisdom that I guess I want to embark on you is that in your life you're going to have experiences that happen. Don't sweat the small stuff. If I would have just put that thing on the ground, or if I would have not put it back on the porch, or if I would have put it at the garage, she may have not noticed me. I did as she asked me to do. Don't sweat the small stuff. Be proud of every moment and experience that you have in your life. Make it feel for you to be the person that you want to be. Good, bad, don't have anything to do with it. Judging you, who knows you? You should know yourself. This is the longest recording I ever did, because I want to be sure that you understand that this book, this is the type of stories that's in my book. The things that I go through make us up. And we're not all about ourselves. Us meaning young, gay, black, whatever category that you want to choose it. And then say, that's not us. Categories and labels do not make us up. Experience make us up, and I wanted to share that experience with all of you. And for those of you who don't get it, it's in my book. I want to share that experience with you through my book as well. Well, I said what I had to say, and thank you for allowing me to come in front of your eyes.